Home of the farm. All right, hello and welcome. We're recording indoors today, so hopefully we won't have any overheating issues, and we'll see if Zoom rolls well for us. So here we go. All right, go ahead and come to standing. As always, if you have any concerns about your health or movements, then just take a pause. Don't do anything that you don't feel prepared to do. All right, everybody, go ahead and start with some breathing. Palms together in front of the chest, slight bend in those knees. If you're familiar with this, go ahead and close the eyes. We're going to do 3 cycles of some breathing here. Breathing in as you reach up, arms out to the side, fill the lungs with air. And about 4 seconds, let it all go. Drop the arms down to the side. Fantastic. Twice more. Breathe in and stretch. Exhale and relax. Good job. Last one. Breathe and reach. Try to think about stretching up out of your head and neck, up out of the hips, as long as you can, under control, and exhale, drop it down. Fantastic. Slight bend in those knees. You're going to start to pivot to the side and reach across the body. Hand on the hip, pivot and stretch. We'll go between like 3 and 5 on each side, just taking your time, reaching through. Get a nice opening through your torso, lengthen through the shoulder. Good job. Couple more on each. Exhale as you reach. Fantastic. Once you finish that, it's going to bring the arms down to the sides. Start to roll the shoulders back and down. There you go. Yep, we're going to go from the shoulders. We're going to go into the elbows. So start to rotate through the elbows. Very nice. And then reverse directions there. Fantastic. And then some little wrist rolls. Roll those wrists around. Get all those little bones in there moving. Awesome. And now we're going to go nice big circles. So alternate which arm's on top. Nice big sweeping circles all the way through. And the right one's on top, and then the left arm's on top. Fantastic. Follow it with your breath. One more. Really reaching back behind you, opening. Fantastic. All right, next we're going to start with some balance work. Arms to the side. You can either hold them at shoulder height or up to overhead. Lift through your core. We're going to go into our sway, shifting the weight to one side. Find a spot to focus on. And when you're ready, shift to the other side. Focusing on lifting up through the hips and core. Try to balance anywhere between like 1 and 3 seconds on each side. You can either have your eyes open and focus on something straight ahead of you, or if you feel pretty stable there, then close the eyes. It makes it a whole world of difference. Very good. Try not to lean through your torso, just shift your weight to one leg, and then keep your shoulders and hips stacked right over top of each other. Fantastic. About once more on each side. And next we're going to move into a march. We're going to start with a pause march. So you're going to lift the knee, lift the hip, and then pause there for a second. Really focusing to not let the hips kick to the side. And as you lift the knee, also think about like lifting the foot. So it's like you lift your toes up. Very good. Shifting and holding. Wonderful. Shift and hold. Couple more on each side. And check there. All right. Next, either our stepping or our jumping seal jack. So up to you. If you want to jump, you can jump, or just join us for a step. Good job. As you do that, I'm going to move this lovely piece of. All right. Less to hit. There we go. Good job. Bring a smile to it. Fantastic. From here, we're gonna move, you can either stick with like a marching high knees, or if you feel comfortable to add a little hop, we'll move into a skip. Just like you're back on the playground as a little kid, or in the backyard, skipping through the grass if you grew up somewhere that had grass in the yard. Very good. Or again, if it doesn't feel good to hop, just stick with that march. Fantastic. Let's go 10 more seconds here. Then we're going to move into our lateral steps. Very good. So I'm going to go this way. You're going to crouch down like in a little quarter squat, step out wide, step in, step wide, step in. Let's go 3 to 5 in one direction. And when you're ready, we'll reverse and bring it back. If at any point you need to stand tall and give it a break, by all means. Otherwise, core engaged, full foot planted. Let's go about another 20 seconds here. Really nice. Fantastic. All right, back to center. Now we're going to step into a little bit of a wider base stance, a little bit of a bend in the knees, and we're going to windmill the arms. So from one side, you're going to reach across the body. Start by just kind of reaching to the lower part of your thigh, about knee height. And then based upon your comfort level, you can start to reach a little bit farther. Long in the spine, sending the hips back. Kind of waking up the hamstrings, the back side of the body. Engage your backside, engage those glutes as you stand tall. Very good. Hinging over, looking towards the floor. Let's get one more on each side. Over and up, over and up. Fantastic. All right, go ahead and shake it out for a second. And now we're gonna go one more cycle of that, starting back with our sway. We're gonna go a full minute this time on the sway. So lifting up, arms out to the side, wide base stance, and we're gonna start to shift our weight to one side and then to the other. Anytime you need to rest or shake out the arms, go ahead and give yourself that permission to take a little bit of break. Make sure you don't judge yourself for it, just shake it out and come back in. Fantastic. Very good. And Sharon, try not to lean too far over, so just stay in upright, shoulders stacked over the hips, that looks better. Holding strong, we're halfway through, another 30 seconds here. Again, we can kind of rest the arms for a second if you need. Breathing and holding. Fantastic. You can also focus, push that big toe down. That's going to help activate the arch of your foot, will help stabilize the ankle, the knee, all the way up the chain. Final 5 seconds here. All right, we're going to move into our march. Instead of the pause march this round, now we're going to add our march and punch. You can always go running high knees if you prefer a little bit more intensity. Otherwise, we're focused on breathing here, breathing and punching. As the arms reach across the body, keep your lower body square. So knees driving straight up. Still focus on lifting those toes. Wonderful. Fantastic. All right, we're going to go either seal jacks, or if you prefer, instead of out to the side, you can take them back to overhead for a stepping jack or a traditional jumping jack. Completely up to you. Either way. We got some jumping or step jacks later on in the hour as part of the workout today. Right now, just using them to get some good blood flow going. All right, from the stepping jacks or jumping jacks, we're gonna move into either back to the skip or again, repeat your march. So either marching or add that little hop and move into your skip. Thinking about picking daisies, having a good time, moving your body. Remember when you're a kid, you just kind of go out and play. You're not trying to like burn calories or lose weight. It's just about having fun. So let's bring ourselves back to those moments. Fantastic. All right, from our high knees there, we're gonna go back to the lateral walk. If you want, add the crossover. Instead of crouching down, we'll stay tall. You can cross in front, cross behind, nice and light. Or if you feel uncertain there, then do your lateral steps. So either crossover or lateral steps. If you're doing the crossovers, you can kind of add that upper body into it, get a little movement through the torso. Very good. Yep. Fantastic. One more cycle here. Stepping it out and bringing it back. Fantastic. All right, one more time through on those windmills. So wide base stance, arms out to the side, right hand to the left leg, left arm to the right leg. As you hinge over, instead of looking up ahead of you, turn your gaze towards the floor so that head stays neutral, chin in, engage those glutes. If you tend to get a little lightheaded, move a little bit slower and have a focal point that every time you stand up, you're looking for that spot on the wall. Gonna help keep that equilibrium nice and square, if that makes sense. All right, folks, go ahead and shake it out. If you have a doorway nearby that you can use or like something to grab onto, we're gonna start with some upper body stretches. I didn't bring any water. Feel free if you want to grab a drink of water first. All right, we're gonna take a few steps back from like whatever, something you could ideally grab onto without pulling it over. I'm gonna reach forward, hang on, and then I'll walk back. And I'm just looking to get like a nice stretch on the side of the body here, area of your lats. And now you're gonna take the other arm and like reach it under and try to peer underneath that arm. And then breathe into where you feel any tension. Nice deep breath. Breathe about 3 times on one side. Go ahead and stand up in between. Let's go ahead and circle the hips in between sides. 3 to 5 one way. Very good, and 3 to 5 the other direction. There you go. All right, when you finish that, come into that lat stretch again. So slight bend in the knees, reaching out, trying to grab onto something, whether it's the countertop or I've got the side of a table here, and then opposite arms, gonna reach under and try to peer under that side of your shoulder, looking underneath your armpit. And breathe wherever you feel that tension. Mine's kind of like the base of my rib cage, just kind of the side of my lower back. Fantastic. Stand up from that. And then make your way to the wall or a doorway. We're going to go pec stretch next. So placing the elbow about shoulder height. If you're starting on your right side, I'm going to step my right foot forward. Stay engaged in the core and then lean forward out of your chest to kind of open up the outer part or upper part of your chest. And now we're going to turn away, looking over that opposite shoulder. Let's hold this for 20. Feel free to relax those eyes. Give the brain a break from staring at screens. Breathe. Very good. And before we switch sides, we're going to stay on that side. See if you can work your elbow like up the door frame or up the side of the wall. And then you're going to try to kind of lean into it. So I've got my elbow up above the head and I'm leaning into it. And come to this got a little wall piece right here. So from a standing position, I just worked the elbow up the wall and then I'm leaning into it there. There we go. That's it, Shirley. Very good. And then let's go ahead and switch arms. While I'm here, I'll just demonstrate on the same side. So when you switch to the other side, again, elbows right about shoulder height. I'm kneeling, so I can't step forward, but inside leg would ideally step forward. And then you want to start to rotate away and then look away. Open that opposite shoulder. I'll just even myself out later. Good job. Let's go another 10 seconds here, continuing to open. These are the muscles that tend to get really tight. We get pulled forward when our pecs get tight. It can cause issues through the upper body, headaches and whatnot. All right, shake that out. And then that same side, you're gonna work that elbow up the wall and sink into it. So you should be on the opposite side. I just stretched that same side twice just for the camera angle. There you go. If reaching overhead is tough for you, these are good stretches just to work into your day. Awesome. All right, behind the back stretches next. So if you want to grab a towel or anything, or if you're able to interlace the hands, that's fantastic. We're paying attention to that midsection, so we don't want to arch here. Ribs down, core strong. And then once you get those hands interlaced or grab onto a towel, lift those arms up. So opening the front of the chest. And if you want to add that forward bow, wide base stance, slight bend in those knees, send the hips back and forward. It's probably not any of you live, but any of you are texting me something right now, please come off mute and tell me. And then come on up. All right. Shake out those arms, swing them back and forth. All right, for our first section today, we're gonna do a little bit different. Instead of working for time, I'm gonna take you through for reps. So I'll walk you through a total of 4 sets. We're gonna have 3 exercises, basically, that we do. So you can either watch the first round, or if you wanna just follow along with me, and I'll talk you through it as we go. So first we're gonna start with band pull-aparts. If you don't have a band, then just move as if you do, okay? But we're gonna start with like a traditional pull-apart, which is, we call it like a lateral one here. So arms are gonna be outstretched, hang on to your band, or just pretend you have a band, and you're gonna extend out, shoulder blades back and down. I'm gonna move for 10 here. Feel free to follow me, or just adjust as needed. So squeeze those shoulder blades. 6, 7, 8, 9, good, and 10. Excellent. Next, we're gonna go from like a diagonal position. So we do this sometimes as a stretch. We're gonna bring the hands out, rotate to the side, and now you're gonna elongate from a diagonal position. 2, 3. Yep. And again, no, don't have a band, just move as if you do. There's still benefits to that. Strengthening the back. Good job. 2 more here, and we'll switch sides. Whew. Get a little burn going. Fantastic. Same thing on the other side. Open them up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fantastic. 2 more. 9 and 10. Awesome. And then go ahead, if you still have your band in your hand, or again, pretending as if, bringing it back behind you, opening through the chest, and bringing it down in front. Let's go 3 times there, bringing it back, kind of opening, and down in front. Once more, reaching up, and kind of fan the arms open. Wonderful. All right, next we're gonna move into a dip. So if you saw the video that I sent out, I'm gonna first show off a chair. If you feel really uncertain on the dip, you can always sub the push-up, okay? The first dip I'm gonna start with, it's gonna be mostly assisted with the legs. So if you know the deeper version and you wanna go right to it, feel free. You're gonna sit tall, shoulders back. You can either have them on the edge of a bench, or I'm gonna use these handles here. And we're gonna use largely the legs. I'm gonna take you through 10. So I'm gonna push up, lift the chest, and relax down. If you wanna add like a little bridge opener with it, you can engage the glutes and push those hips open. Shoulder blades back and down, and control down. So that's 3. And then move through 7 more. You can adjust your reps by whatever feels good. But the goal here would be to give you a downward push. So we're pushing down through our shoulders, not allowing the shoulders to shrug up into the ears. And nice tall chest. All right, let's go 2 more. And last one. Fantastic. All right, we're gonna stay there, and now we're gonna do our rotation. So you're welcome to get down on the ground if you wanna do the quadruped version. I'm gonna go 5 on each side of this one. Elbow to opposite thigh, sit tall, and looking over that shoulder. 5 each side. Breathe in, and exhale to rotate. Good job. Fantastic. And then we'll switch sides. 5 on the opposite side. So this is the end of set 1. Let's start with 3 rounds of this today. So I'm going to take you through it twice more, kind of build into these movements. It's been several months since we've done any kind of dips in these sessions. All right, from the dip, we're going to go right back to those pull aparts, starting with the lateral pull aparts for 10. Join when you're ready. Good job. Core engage, glutes engage, have a nice foundation. There you go. I think that's 9. Once more. There's 10. Whew. Good job. Shake it out. Now from a diagonal. And just kind of like the state, what might not be obvious, the less slack you have, the less resistance you have. So the closer you work your hands together, the harder it's going to be. So if you want a little less tension, slide the hands out. There's also difference in the band. You'll have different colors that have different tension as well. But you can make a lot of changes just by changing how close you hold your hands. Good, about 4 more. Those of you that have been with me for a while know my quality of counting while I'm speaking. Call that 9. And number 10. Whew, shake her out. And diagonal the opposite way, whenever you're ready. So when we do overhead press, which we're going to have in the next sequence, we focus on elevating the ear toward, excuse me, not the ear, elevating the shoulder to the ear. When we're doing movements like this, we want to avoid that shrug up. Instead, think shoulder blades back and down as you move. Got 2 more. Beautiful. All right, and then our openers, bringing them back behind and forward. And you can bring it back as far as you're confident. Sometimes they call these shoulder dislocates. We don't literally want you to dislocate, but just kind of an expression. But you'll feel where your body's like, okay, I've got some tension there, and then come back forward with it. But nice opener for the body. Fantastic. All right, moving into the dips next. So you can stick with that first progression I showed you if you have that chair with the handles, or now I'm going to kind of move down to the seat, and this is going to allow me to go deeper into that dip. So it's going to be a little bit more demanding. So if you want to stay up, stay up. So I'm going to have my knees bent, shoulders back, slowly lower down, and then push and lift just like previous. And again, if you want to add that glute bridge to it, just make sure you don't have any tension in the back. It's kind of a great opportunity to get a little bit more glute activation. Here's 5. Again, I'll take you through 10. Shake it out anytime you need. Really key here, you don't want to go to failure on anything. So if it starts to get tough, that's a good time to rest. We're just working on general fitness, keeping our body and our joints moving through a wide range of motion. And that's probably about 10 there. Fantastic. Back to our rotations. So you can either stay seated, or I'll demo this one from the ground. So elbow to the opposite thigh if you're doing it seated. Or if you feel comfortable to come down on all 4s, you can open it this way as well. I'm going to start up on the hand. Hand behind the head, elbow to elbow, rotate and peer over that shoulder. 5 on each side, just like last time. Breathe in to close, exhale to open. Fantastic. And then switch sides when you're ready. If you are support up on the hand, make sure you're not locking that elbow. Slight give in the elbow, elbow to elbow, rotate. Rotation helps us feel good, helps open everything up. Sometimes we don't realize how locked down we get when we aren't stretching and moving. All right, beautiful. If you got a water bottle nearby, grab a quick sip, and then we're gonna cycle through that one more time, starting back with those band pull-aparts. Nice job, everybody. All right, going for 10 of each. And 5 to 10 was the instructions, so feel free to rest after 5. Fantastic. There's our lateral. Now we'll go diagonal. Good job. Staying engaged in the midsection and lower body. Building a strong back, back of the shoulders. Keep us upright. Awesome. And one more orientation here. Good. I have my arms outstretched, so there's no bend in the elbows. Arms are nice and straight. One of those movements that you're like, yeah, no big deal, and then you're like, oh, it's really burning. Anyone else? All right, beautiful. And our shoulder openers. So once more, bringing it up and back, reaching behind you. This can also be done with like a broomstick, or anyone randomly has like PVC pipe around, you could do it with more of a rigid object. Opening those shoulders. Fantastic. And then one more cycle on our dips. Doo-doo-doo. All right, so I'm gonna show the third progression. So again, we got this one or the one we just did. If that was still didn't really challenge you for 10, you can go outstretched legs. And now you're gonna have more weight in the upper body with those knees straight. Upwards of 10 here. Avoiding that shrugging into the ears, so keeping them back and down, lifting through the chest. Good, Kathy, that looks nice. You want to engage the glutes at the top. And rest. I need an app that counts for me while I speak. It's probably somewhere. All right, and then either quadruped or seated rotations. Final time, 5 on each side. Elbow to the opposite arm or opposite thigh. Sit tall and rotate. Moving nice and controlled. Pausing for a moment in that rotated position. I kind of like to imagine that I like trying to wring out my torso like a towel. You had a towel up and down, you're trying to like wring it out. Get all that movement through there. Fantastic. Switch if you have it. Breathe in to close and exhale as you open. All right, very good. Next, we're gonna start to warm up the lower body a little bit more. We have options if you wanna do some squatting in the next piece. Either way, whether you choose to squat or not, let's get some good mobility for the lower body. So we're gonna start with an opening for the inner thighs. You can hang on to something for balance, or if you feel pretty secure, then that's great. I'm going a nice wide base stance here. We're gonna do a little side lunge to one side, getting a stretch in that inner thigh, then back to neutral, and a little side lunge to the opposite side. Keeping the heel planted and not letting that knee dive in, so pushing it out. Let's get about between 2 and 4 on each side. I just kind of reach my arm out as a counterbalance. Very good. Walk the feet in. Let's take your left foot forward, right foot back. You can either be up on the ball of the foot or rest it back on the heel. If the right leg's back, right hand to the left shoulder, you're gonna pull that arm down and in, start to open up the outer part of the shoulder. And now we do our hip slide. So slide that hip forward, engaging the glute on the right side. And rotate, looking over your left shoulder. And just gently pulse here. So I feel a little bit of a tension in the front of that right hip. That's where we're looking to open. Fantastic, and then we'll just kind of pivot ourselves and do the same thing on the other side. So now we have the left leg back, left arm to the right shoulder, pull that elbow down and into the body, gently engage the glutes, shift them forward and rotate towards the right. Breathe as you shift the hip. Engage the glute, exhale. Once more. Really nice. All right, next we're gonna go into our squat sit. I'm gonna come nice and close and show it right here. I'm just kind of holding on to the corner of a wall. I have my feet hip width apart with a slight toe out. And you can hang on or just reach the arms out. And we're gonna lower ourselves down as far as you're confident, trying to sink the hips below the knees. Even if you can't do a full squat with like out assist, I've seen a lot of people that they can typically, if they're holding on with the upper body, they can get down nice and deep. It doesn't always feel good right away, but it is really good for those joints to keep everything opening. Yep, and try to keep that chest tall. So Jean, try to look straight ahead. As you lower back, sometimes that helps to hold on to something because that helps that upper body position. Very good. Fantastic. All right, and then either lying on the side, if you can't quite grab the foot, you can repeat that stagger stance we just did. If you can get a hold of your foot, try to grab one foot and we're gonna go quad stretch. So pulling the heel towards the glute. Let's go 20 seconds each side. There you go. Fantastic, another 10 seconds. So we're trying to get the heel towards that glute and I'm just lightly driving the thigh back to get a nice opening in the front part of the thigh. And go ahead and relax and we'll switch sides. Good, 20 seconds here. For our next piece, we're gonna be doing overhead press. You can use weights or a band. And you can either do a single arm overhead press or you can do a full squat into an overhead press. I'll demonstrate it just briefly in case you want to start with the squats and then I'll progress it as we go through. All right, go ahead and relax that. So if you want to squat, we call it a thruster. It's going to be a single arm thruster. You'd hold the weight in one side. You'd reach the opposite arm out, sinking back into the squat. As you stand, you push your weight up to overhead, bringing it down. And this will be for time. So we'll go back to how we've been doing many of our sessions, working for 30, resting for 15 in between sides, okay? You're also welcome just to do a regular overhead press, standing or seated, pushing up and bringing it down. We'll go all on one arm, and then we'll have 15 seconds, and then we'll switch, okay? One more movement that we're gonna do after we go both sides there. You can either use your weights, hold strong in your core. If you feel confident in a bent over position, you can do a bent over row, holding the weights, pulling them up and in, or go back to your band and come into a seated position. You can sit on the floor or in the chair around one foot, and then we're rowing both arms back and in. So I'm gonna show the seated version on the first round, and then bent over on the second and third. Questions before we roll into that? All right, let's go in 15 seconds, starting on that left arm. Again, you're welcome to do the squat if you want. I'm gonna just show the overhead press to start. 5 seconds, and 3, 2, 1, begin. Very good. Good job, we're over halfway. Making sure we're not arching through the back. Great job. See some of you choosing those squats in the first round. And 3, 2, 1, and rotate sides. Very good. And those of you who are doing the thruster, it's the same side that you're holding the weight. You're gonna push that one up to overhead. All right, and 3, 2, 1. Here we go in the opposite arm, pushing up, bringing it down. Good job. Good overhead position, Diane. That looks nice. Good, Jared. Nice work. Almost there. 2, 1, and rotate. Well done. So remember, you can go bent over row or seated with the band. Going in 5. And begin when you're ready. Tall chest. You can even pause if you're doing, either if you're doing the band or the weight. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Strong back. We do a lot of exercises for our back and the back of our shoulders because that's oftentimes one of our biggest problem areas is that forward posture. And 3, 2, 1, 30 seconds to rest between sets. Great job, everybody. And I didn't show it, you're also always welcome to press overhead with the bands, right? You could do it seated and just go one arm up to overhead, or if you're not quite comfortable overhead, if it ends up a little bit in front of you, that's all right. Just do the best you can and try to encourage yourself, your body to get overhead over time. All right, I'm going to demonstrate those thrusters this time, or you're welcome to stick with just that standing press. 2, 1, and starting on the left. Full squat if you're squatting, or you're always welcome. Remember, we can squat to a chair and then stand and push from there. I'll show that this set. Good job. Halfway. Consistent breathing here. Every rep should look and sound the same. 2, 1, and rest. Great job, everybody. Switching sides. Feet about hip width apart, slight toe out for those squats. And here we go. Controlling back, driving up. Chest tall. Whether you're squatting or just pressing overhead, keeping the ribs down, avoiding that arch of the back. Sometimes when it's hard to reach straight overhead, we'll compensate by kind of going into that like sway back position. So you want to avoid that. 2, 1, and rotate. Fantastic. So either back to that seated row with the band, or we're going to go demonstrate the bent over this time. Standing tall, slight bend in the knees, hinging at the hips, hold that chin in, and begin when you're ready. 30 seconds here. That bent over position will definitely challenge the core, including your backside. So you want to be intent to stay strong the whole way through. Stand up and shake it out anytime you need. Bands or the weight, pause against that chest, squeeze them in. Great job, and go ahead and rest. Awesome, 30 seconds. Final set. Whew, got a nice little sweat going now. I don't know about anybody else. All right, 10 seconds. If you are squatting, slight toe out with the toes helps open the hips. 2, 1, here we go. Last cycle of this one. Squat if you're confident. Controlling the movement. Breathing through. Really nice, everybody. There you go. Almost there. And 2, 1, rest and rotate. Awesome. Other side. Feet about hip width apart, slight toe out, standing tall. 2, 1, and we're moving. Sinking back, drive her up. Remember, we're here to have fun. And sometimes exercise isn't always fun while you're doing it, so you want to stay connected to why do you do this? We want our bodies to feel good. We want to be able to stay active and mobile with our children and grandchildren as we age. Be able to get out and explore and maintain our independence. Good job, and rest. Final rotation to the seated row. I'm going to go back to the bands. Remember, you're welcome to do the bent over position as well. 2, 1, here we go. Squeezing back and in, avoiding that shrug, so broad through the chest. Good job, Jean, that's a good back position. There you go, Sharon. 2, 1, and we're all done with that circuit, everybody. Great work. All right, just 1 to go. 3 exercises on this last one, and as always, we have options on what variations are we gonna do. Our first one, and this time it's a little bit different too. So instead of, again, for time, we'll work for a total of 8 minutes. So we're gonna work for a total of 8 minutes, doing 3 exercises. It's gonna be 10 reps of either a stepping or a jumping jack. Excuse me, 20, so 10 on, let me start over. 20 reps of either a jumping or a stepping jack. Then we're gonna go into 10 reps of either a deadlift or like a swing, and then 5 of a get up. Let me start with the get up. So you can do it as simple, if you don't have anywhere to lie down, you can get up off your chair. So you'd sit down, you would get up. You would sit down, and you would get up. Ideally, I'd love for you to be lying down and getting up, but if you really don't have anywhere to do that, then just use the chair. And then we've got the elevated get up here. I'm gonna do that the first round. We're gonna use this bed here. You can do it on a couch as well, where you lay back, extend out the feet, and then you roll over to one side and make your way up. And then I do the same thing on the other way. Turn your feet the other way so that then you're switching which side you roll to get up on, or on the floor, okay? Our stepping or jumping jacks is the first movement, okay? Second movement, first round, I'll do our deadlift. So you get a weight on the ground, bending over, chin in, push through your legs, squeeze the glutes, stand tall, okay? If it's tough for you to touch the toes, maybe don't go all the way to the floor. Only go down as far as you have a nice flat back. You're also welcome, if you don't have anything to pick up, you can do our good morning where you hinge over and stand, okay? And the more advanced movement would be what we call a swing. You can hold weights in each hand and do what we call like a skier swing. Obviously, I only have one, but I'm pretending. Or you can hold on to like one weight and bring it between the legs and swing here. If you're someone that has like a history of some back pain, if you tend to get stiff in your low back, I don't recommend going into the swings right away because that's going to be more dynamic on the low back. But just an option for anyone that knows it. All right, I know not everyone gets a lot out of this, but just to review the reps. 20, 10, 5. And you're welcome to count for yourself, or you can just follow along with me, whatever makes the most sense. Whoop. Questions before we begin? All right, we'll start here in 20 seconds. Let me just write the number of time when we're gonna stop. We're gonna move from 44 to 52. And we're gonna be moving for a full 8 minutes, so just build in your rest anytime you want. All right, going in 10. With our stepping or our jumping jacks. And if you're doing the step, it'll be 10 on each side. 2, 1, and begin. There's 10. Great job. Awesome. So you can either go into the deadlifts next, or I'm going to demonstrate those good mornings on the first round. So 10 reps here, slight bend in the knees, either picking up something or bow forward, engage the glutes and stand. 10 reps here. you want to hold a little bit of a weight, you could always hold a weight against your chest. Bowing down, standing tall. Good job. We're 1 minute into our circuit, so we have 7 more minutes to work. Rest for water anytime you need. I think that's 9. We're going to those get-ups next. So you're welcome to lay on the ground or sit in a chair. I'm going to demonstrate off the bed. And obviously we'll all move at different speeds, so adjust the reps if you want. You can do all 5 on your own, or you can just move to the next one when I finish this one. It's all moldable. Ideally when you lie down, if you are lying down, we like to see the legs straight and the arms can reach up to overhead. Total of 5. Guess that leaves us a little lopsided on one side, but it's okay. Life's not perfect anyway, right? And I think this will be 5. Fantastic. All right, that's the end of set 1. If you want to grab a sip of water, that was 2 minutes through. Or if you feel good and want to roll right back into it, I'm going back into those jumping jacks or stepping jacks. 20 total, 10 on each side if you're stepping. Good job. This is a good time to smile. Well done. Fantastic. After that 20 there, again, either sticking with those good mornings or I'm going to demo the deadlift next. Sending those hips back, chin in, push through those legs, core strong, engage the glutes. Total of 10 here if you feel good for it. Bowing forward, strong core, long in the spine. Breathe. Great work. There you go. After 10 reps here, going back to the get-ups. I'll show it on the floor this time. So you're welcome to keep it elevated, or remember, you can just sit down in the chair and get up there. So lay down, kind of come to all fours. You know, basically just whatever feels good for you, making your way up. When you stand tall, reach your arms up to overhead, and then making your way back down. And just like we roll the different sides when we are on the bed or the couch, you want to try the same thing on the floor, where you roll to one side, and then you roll to the other. And try to kind of pay attention. Which leg do you tend to use to get up off the ground? See if you can vary that as well. Doesn't always seem all that exciting, but one of the most functional things we can look to maintain for ourselves is being able to get up and down. And it will also really send that heart rate up nice and high. One of those moments where you realize you don't really need exercise equipment or a gym to be active. I think that's number 4. Let's go once more. Fantastic. We got 3.5 minutes left, everybody, so we're over halfway. Fantastic. Feel free to grab some water, or if you feel good to go, we'll go back to the top, jumping or step jacks. Good work. Yeah, Sharon, good, Kathy. That's it, Diane. Awesome. All right. So you can stick with the good mornings, you can do the deadlifts, or I'll demonstrate a little bit of a swing next. So just kind of hold the weight. I'm long on the handle, slight bend in the knees, strong core, send the hips. So I kind of drive my hips forward. Keeping the weight close to my center of gravity. Really common flaw I see on these swings is people will swing low. So you want to kind of have the weight by your inner thighs, or if you're doing the 2-arm swing, right by the hips, kind of like a pocket position. So 10 reps there. And then after your 10 reps there of either a swing, the deadlift, or the good morning, we're back into our get-ups. Being that there's 5, try to start on a different side each time. Great work, people. We're coming up on 2 minutes left. If you're going for that full 8 minutes. Really good. Rolling over, getting up. Sometimes it's a good idea too if you kind of want to do this near like the side of a couch or something that you can help get yourself up with. Sit up, get up. All right, 90 seconds. Go one more for good measure here. Awesome. All right, if you feel like you're ready to join me, I'm going back to those step jacks, or you can go jumping jacks. Excellent. Awesome. Woohoo! 1 minute to work. Just moving your body, having fun. I have no idea what rep I'm on. All right, that's what makes it fun, right? It's all made up. All right, deadlifts or swings next. I'm gonna go back to the deadlift, or obviously also like we showed the first set, the good morning works well also. Just looking to have a hinging pattern here. So meaning hinging at the hips. Basically the opposite of the squat for our lower body. Good job. 20 seconds. If you finish your 10 reps here, if you want to go into one get up or so, I'm just going to kind of finish this out with the deadlifts, and then we'll finish with a cool down stretch. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all done. Good job. High fives around. Yeah. All right, awesome. If you got some water nearby, grab some water, and then let's do a little bit of a stretch. I want to start with a calf stretch. I can show this here. So pretty simple. We're just going to look to get the toe up like the wall or like this leg of a chair. And then with the leg out stretch, you're going to lean into it and look to get a nice stretch in the back of the calf here. And kind of vary it up a little bit. You can go from having that knee extended, and then you can just very gently bend the knee in slightly and then extend it out again. I mean, it barely bends at all, right? But just maybe 5 or 10 degrees and then extend out. Good, and switch feet when you're ready. Toe up, sink in, say hello to your calf muscle there in the back of the leg. I remember my grandmother used to love to slap her calves and say, "Grandpa says I got football legs." It's like, you mean muscles? She always thought that weightlifting was so bad for me. But hey, we're still doing it today. There's worse things, right? All right, shake that out. Next, we're gonna go into what we call our eagle arms. So you can sit or stand. Let's start with your right arm on top, left arm under. You're gonna interlace the arms, interlace the palms, and then we're pushing this arm out, this up, and this down. So you kind of push the arms against each other so that you can get an opening in that outer shoulder. Smile as you're all twisted up. Feeling kind of funny? Very good. Let's go ahead and swing the arms side to side. If you can do it without slapping your arms against anything, arm swings. Excellent. Whoop. So I had the right arm on top. Now we're gonna go left on top, right arm under, interlace those arms. Push up, push down. Wonderful. All right, let's go triceps next with our tricep side bend. So again, you're welcome to stay standing if you are. Reaching up, bend, and this is where it kind of gets tough. So you want to stay tall, chin in, see if you can reach behind your body. And now you can either stay tall here and just work on that tricep stretch or add some side bends to it. So bend to the side, elongate as you come back to neutral, and bending to the side. Breathe in to lengthen, exhale to stretch. 2 more. Good, Shirley. All right, shake her out and we'll switch sides. Arm up, chin in, bend that elbow, see if you can reach and grab it. And either holding here or 5 bends to the side. Very good. Last one. Fantastic. Okay, and then I want to do a little bit for the neck. So we're going to go hands over the chest, downward tissue pull. So just kind of pulling the skin down and then just gently look up. And I can't emphasize the gentle part of this enough. You look up, get a little bit of stretch in the front of the neck. And now we're going to look down towards the chest, and you can put the fingers on top of the head. And again, just very light pressure to encourage a stretch in the back of the neck. We tend to hold a lot of tension there. And we'll do that cycle twice more. So hands on the collarbone, downward tissue pull, gently look up. And then sitting tall, chin to the chest, and gentle overpressure looking down. It's like you're barely touching the top of your head. Very good. Last time through. Tension down, glance up. And this time you can either just stay straight, or if you want to kind of turn your head gently towards one side, and then you can turn your head gently to the other side. And then we'll relax there, and final time down. And then doing this, the same idea, where you can kind of gently rotate the chin towards one side of the collarbones with a little overpressure there. And then back to neutral. And then think about bringing your chin to the opposite collarbone, and you'll just feel how it slightly changes what you feel in the back. And relax. Awesome. And then last one, we'll do some rotation. So you're going to look to the one side, 2 fingers, not on your jaw, but over on your cheekbone. So just give a little overpressure, looking over the shoulder. And think about the side that you're stretching away from. Try to pull that shoulder back behind you to get the most out of it. And then we'll look to the other side, 2 fingers up on the cheek, and traction that shoulder back. Good work. Twice more. Turn. You don't have to hold these for a really long time. We're just holding for about 5 seconds roughly. And then we relax and shift. It's more about movement through the area than it is for like a long extended stretch. Good job. Last time through. These are great ones to do before or after you brush your teeth in the morning and evening, especially if you tend to have some chronic stiffness in your neck. And then not with the overpressure this time, but just kind of let's think about, like, if you're standing nice and tall, and if you had like a pencil, or if you're like Pinocchio coming straight out of your nose, you want to put your nose like in one spot and then pivot the head around that. So sit tall, looking straight ahead, and then pivot the head around that point. Excellent. All right, and then last one, we're going to do our seated twist in the chair. Stretch out the low back just a hair, and the upper body and the shoulders. If you prefer to lie down on the back and you just won't get the shoulder rolls, that's okay too. So you can hand to the opposite thigh, and you can turn through here. If you want to cross the leg over, that'll take you a little bit deeper into that twist. And then we're going to go same side hand to that shoulder, and we're outlining our grapefruits. I'm ready for some nice citrus right now. About 10 backwards revolutions of the shoulder, and then we'll switch. Cross the other leg over, or just sit and twist. Only cross if it feels good, and 10 revolutions here. Make sure you turn your gaze as well, bring your neck into that rotation. All right. Thanks so much for coming today, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for taking care of your bodies, and hope to see you all next time.